Welcome back. The Justice Department has committed to improving interpreting services in the country's courts. Well, recently it announced that 3 million rand had been set aside to address the shortage of translators. Well, for more details, we're joined in studio by Deputy Justice Minister Andreis Nel. A very good morning to you. Thank you so much for your time. Now, it must be incredibly frustrating for not only the victims of crime, but also law enforcement officials, police officers who make the arrests, and the prosecution team to have the case thrown out of court due to a language technicalities. Do you concede the Justice Department has dropped the ball on this one?
No. I think we should just take one or two steps back. I think firstly, the 3 million that you mention is something totally different, and I think we can come back to that later in the interview. The Department of Justice employs almost 1,960 interpreters countrywide, and that service runs on a budget of about 337 million rand. So it's a very big operation, very comprehensive, and generally functions very well, given the fact that our Constitution recognizes 11 official languages and also gives recognition to sign language and a host of other languages. The main problem that we have is with foreign language interpretation. And I mean, we have languages such as Urdu, Somali, Ibu, a range of languages, and even those we do handle quite well. I think you would be aware that recently a Thai national was convicted in a rhino poaching and smuggling case and sentenced to 40 years. And extensive use of interpretation was made there. Although it is very challenging at times to be able to provide those services throughout the country. It requires management, and those systems are being put in place. We're putting in place a layer of managers for the interpreters to make sure that they function better, but also that their services can be deployed effectively and efficiently throughout the country.
We'll come to those plans just now. What comes to mind is that 2008 case in which Tsidiso Hlongwane, who despite confessing to murder, got off due to language barriers. 4 years on, you say progress has been slow, but things are coming together. What do you make of that case?
Well, I think first of all, it's a 2008 case. Secondly, we need to look into the facts of that. And we have made inquiries. We haven't received all of the facts, but it wasn't a case of an interpreter not being present in a criminal case. The accused there had been caught, had made a confession, and that for some reason, which we don't know, an interpreter wasn't present while the confession was being made. So I think it's a little bit different than the day-to-day operations of our courts, and we are looking into that case. Even the person who's reported it to us hasn't been able to furnish the full details.
Let's discuss the 3 million that you chatted about a little earlier. Exactly how will it be used?
Well, look, as I said, the 3 million relates to money that's being used to provide the production of material in Braille for blind persons. And I think that's a bit distinct from the question of court interpretation. But we do take very seriously sign language and also interpretation and production of Braille material.
And what time frame have you put in place in order to make sure that that 300 million rand is used and all the information that you need for Braille, etc., comes to pass?
Well, the 300 million is for interpretation services, and that's being used on an ongoing basis. As I said, we've got about 2,000 interpreters throughout the country. We are employing more. We're putting in place a management layer to make sure that they are better deployed and managed, and that their work is overseen. Secondly, we are constantly busy upgrading the skills of our interpreters through institutions such as Justice College, but also in collaboration with universities, especially the Free State, Wits, and University of Johannesburg. We're also making use of the CETAs to encourage learnerships of interpreters. And in addition to that, the big problem area that I mentioned was with foreign language interpreters. We're moving to a system of putting those people onto fixed-term contracts In the past, they were employed on an ad hoc basis. It meant that they couldn't be properly managed. It also meant that the state was spending a lot of money. So we're moving
very
to
quickly.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you. Very quickly. So you're happy with the state of court interpretation at the moment?
We are happy with that there is a basic service being provided. Of course, there are huge challenges. In a multilingual society such as ours, that will be an ongoing task to forever improve it. And I think just to point out that it's actually one of those challenges that come with freedom. You know, in the past, under apartheid, everyone was pigeonholed in different parts of the country. Venda speaking people were in one part, Xhosa people was in another part, Afrikaans in another part. Now everyone is free to move. So there's a need for Tshivenda speaking interpreters in Cape Town. There's a need for Xhosa interpreters in Thohoyandou. And all of those things come with challenges. But we have the systems, we are meeting those challenges.
Thank you so much for your time. That was Deputy Justice Minister Andreis Nel.